Yo, 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 yo. What's happening, y'all? How's my folks doing tonight? John Lee here with B Swag Podcast, brought to you by Off the Hook with B Love. It's a great fishing channel on YouTube, y'all. Go check it out. He's having a contest right now. Whoever can draw his logo, they're going to come up with some money. It's a gift card, but it's worth some money. I'm in it. I'm going to try and get it. Also brought to you by B Swag Marketing LLC, your digital marketing company, your number one digital marketing company. Basically, they put eyeballs on your business. Now, this is John Lee here, Billionaire Swag, 3gs.info. I want to just dive right into this, y'all. I've been waiting for this. I promised y'all this. This is something that touched my soul pretty deep, okay? And I'm going to take my time with this. Throwing the format out, y'all. We're going to throw the format out, okay? Damn being an hour, because I got a lot of notes, did a lot of research, and, like I always say, my experiences is my podcast. My podcast is based on my experiences, but I know it's based on a lot of other folks' experiences too, okay? I'm 56 years old, y'all. And I didn't get to be 56 on a humdrum. I've done quite a bit, been around, worked quite a few jobs, all in the same industry though, okay? And I've dealt with a lot of bosses. So, we're gonna dive into this real quick. All right, I'm gonna sit back. I want y'all to sit back because we're gonna be here for a while, but this is some great content, y'all. I gotta believe it's some great content, okay? I'd like to welcome y'all to episode 6 of B Swag Podcast, okay? Entitled, Fake Ass Bosses, Are They the Devil in Disguise? And I want to dedicate this episode to a boss I had. Take a hit of my cigarette. I want to dedicate this episode 6, Fake Ass Bosses, Are They Really the Devil in Disguise? I want to dedicate this to Nicholas George, okay? He was an inspiration of me coming up with this topic, because I was going to jump right on into. I was going to go into my next topic. Episode 6 was supposed to be about dating sites, which don't get it twisted. We're just going to move that back a couple episodes because I'm going to definitely dive into that one. I'm going to eat that one up. I got a lot of good content for that one, but we want to just go into this one here because some events happened, some things have occurred that made me want to touch bases on this, made me want to, get this content out, talk to y'all about this because it was just something I feel that was important to speak on, okay? And it's something, something that should be said. A lot of people experience fake ass bosses, but they can't say anything about it because of the position that they're in, or they don't want to say anything about it because of the position that they're in. Well, I'm in no damn position, y'all. So I'm going to speak on it. I'm in my position. Okay? So I'm going to speak on it. All right? Fake ass bosses. This is John Lee with B Swag Podcast. Okay? I can start off anywhere. I can go anywhere with this. I can, because it's a beautiful topic. Again, I know we've all experienced it. Okay. And I got a lot of notes and I'm all over the place with this, but y'all know me. Y'all been rocking with me. Y'all know I'm going to be all over the place. Let's start with my definition. Okay. This isn't the Webster's definition. This is my definition. Y'all know normally I will go to the Webster's dictionary, and on all my topics, I'm going to give you the Webster's dictionary of what that really is. And then I speak on it. But not this time, y'all. I thought about that. I was going to go to the Webster's dictionary, and I was going to get the dictionary definition of bosses. But again, it's my podcast, and that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about fake-ass bosses, F-A-B. Okay? Now, my definition of a fake-ass boss. We're going to start off. Number one, fake ass boss is a buster ass dude, which was episode, I believe, 4 or 5. Okay, it's a buster ass dude in a suit and tie. That's the first definition. Okay. Again, that's a buster ass dude in a suit and tie. Definition number 2 that I have. This is another definition for fake ass bosses. It's an individual who is put in a position over other individuals, who also agrees to pay a certain individual for a particular service and then reneges on agreed upon payment after services have been rendered and performed. I'm going to repeat that. It's an individual who is put over certain individuals, or a few individuals, or a lot of individuals, and he agrees to pay said individuals for a particular service or performance, okay, and then reneges on agreed upon payment after services have been rendered or been performed. That's deep. That's deep. So basically, what that is, that's just some buster ass dude who's in a position of authority or a position of power and has brought on some folks, some employees, some workers, and has agreed to pay him a certain amount for certain services rendered. Once those services have been rendered, he either changes up what he pays them, or he doesn't pay him at all, or he pays him when he wants to pay him. That's a fake ass boss, y'all. Okay? And I'm going to get deeper into that later, because I've encountered that a couple of times, where we've had to use force. Okay? And the thing about it, people ain't playing about their money, y'all. They're not. Especially in today's day and age. People are not playing about their money. If they perform a service, or they act out on something that was agreed upon to be paid for, after they're done, they're going to expect to get paid. Whether it's next week, whether it's that day, whether it's in 2 weeks, they're going to expect to get paid the amount that was agreed on. Bottom line. Okay? We're going to touch deeper into that as well, because I've seen some shit happen. I've seen some shit happen with this particular boss, Mr. Nicholas George. We've been through this before. Okay? But things happen. You got the mouthpiece, you got good game. You're able to convince folks to come back and work for you, even though it's happened before. And it happens again and again and again. Really, all you can blame is yourself, because if you know that person who's your boss, if you know them, and you worked for him before, you worked with him before, and it went sideways, or it went left, so to speak. Shit didn't work out the way it was supposed to. You should have known better. But, sometimes you think, since it's a different time, different person, certain individuals are not involved at this particular time, it should be different. It should be. You expect it to be. They gave you a nice tap dance, a nice song and dance. Sold you on, a straight up dream. And you bought it. And you figured it can't be the same. It's got to be different this time. We're much older. We've been through the drama together. We know better now. So we're going to do it differently, but the same, so to speak. And then booyah. That devil in disguise comes out again, and it happens once again. I mean, like I said, you can only blame yourselves for, being suckered into that. All right. And we got a lot of notes here, y'all. Got a lot of notes. We're gonna start off with with again my experiences is my podcast. My podcast is based on my experiences. So we're gonna jump right into this. I mean, it's happened to me twice. It's happened to me several times. Where I've trusted a gentleman or trusted a man who was appointed to be my boss or my business partner. Because I believe good in everybody. If the numbers are right, if they sound right, why wouldn't you believe good in that person? You came up with a plan of attack. You came up with certain numbers, after collective data, quantitative and qualitative data, as Mr. Todd Johnson once taught me. And that's a boss that I respect and love completely. And I'm going to get into him later because I've had several bosses that weren't fake. I've had several bosses that were real. I've had several bosses that taught me how to perform correctly in the workforce, how to produce and be positive and bring in income. I've been doing sales myself, speaking about myself in general, but this goes on any kind of industry, sales, construction, anything. Just with me, it's basing this on sales because that's all I've done. But retail sales, fast food, restaurant, even the highest industry you could think of, being an actor, being an actress, being an athlete. You have a boss because somebody owns that company you're working for or working with. Doesn't matter. There's a boss for everybody, unless you own. Unless you're the owner, you have a boss. And if you're the owner, you're the boss. And let's hope you're not a fake ass boss. Okay? Because I've been the boss. I've owned several companies. I've managed several companies. So I've been a boss. I'm a boss now. Hell. Don't get it twisted. We're all bosses in our own way. Okay? And if you think differently, then you need to just go somewhere, sit down, and just forget about it. All right? But, this particular gentleman I'm speaking of, who I, dedicated this episode to, Nick George, it happened twice with him, But again, it's my fault. So I really can't speak too much on him. He did what he was supposed to do. He's a fake-ass boss. So his job as a fake-ass boss is to get employees to work for him, cheat them out of their money, and then they leave. He knows it's a revolving door. So bottom line is he gets the money because you leave without getting your money. Whether he didn't want to give it to you or he was going to give it to you when he wanted to give it to you, you got upset, as I did, and you left. And I'm sure there was some parting words, some threats, some breakage, broke a couple things or stole a couple things, whatever the case was. Bottom line is he ended up with the money. That's the bottom line. You ended up with nothing except being pissed off. Okay, and I've seen this happen with Nick before. We created a business a long time ago. I believe it was 2000. I want to say 2000 and let's say I want to say about 2013, maybe 12. I started doing SEO in 2008. Worked for a company, a great boss by the name of Kevin Leonard. I used to call him Scratch and Sniff. Great boss. He taught me how to, well, he didn't teach me how to. He taught me all about .coms. He taught me how to make money buying .coms. He taught me how to really be patient with my employees. He taught me a lot. He did. He was an awesome boss. We used to sit up on Fridays, me, him, and his wife. We'd sit up on Fridays and we buy .coms. When everybody else, we get paid on Fridays, everybody else be at the club. Hey, Johnny, you coming? We're going to the club, to the casino, whatever it was. No, me and Kevin and his wife, Missy, we'd sit up, we'd go get an 18-pack of Corona and a bottle of Cuervo Gold, and we'd sit up and think of .coms to buy. He taught me how to take my game to another step, to another level, to open, because I started working for him in the mortgage business, but it was in 2008 when the mortgage business was closing, shutting down. And he told me, I can't pay you to do loans no more because there's no more loans, but if you want, you could try this, SEO. And he was, his company, it was, what was it? It was eBoost Media, and they were what do you call it? They branched off of a bigger company, eLocal Listing, I believe is what it was. They were, I forget what it's called when you have a major company and they birth little companies off of it, so that's how, and my little brother was working for him, and that's how I met him. And it worked out. I'm still doing digital marketing to this day. Still doing internet marketing to this day. It worked out. But that's what taught me about SEO and started me in that industry. And then working for him, after so long, I think I've worked for him for 2 years, became manager within 6 months, 7 months, and performed real well. Produced real well, made some good money, not mortgage money, because I was used to mortgage money, but it wasn't mortgage money, but it was a steady income, but I was still in control, I was still in charge, because like I said, I became manager real quick for his company. So that was a good thing. He was a great boss, like I said. Let's just back up, okay, because those who know me know I'm all over the place with my podcast. Again, keyword, my podcast, okay? B-Swag Podcast, brought to you by Off the Hook Will Be Love. Okay? So, we're going to back up a little bit, talk about the fake-ass bosses. Let's go there before we talk about good bosses. Okay? Because I haven't really worked for too many fake-ass bosses because I identify it early and I get out. I do. Because when you start playing with my money, I got 2 rules, y'all. Don't drink my last beer and definitely don't play with my money. And I've had to chase bosses down for my money. I've had to help other co-workers or other friends chase fake-ass bosses down for their money. Okay, we've broken down doors, huh, Charlie B? I know Charlie B don't listen to this. My boy Charles, I know he don't listen to my podcast, and he was in a cast. He had just busted his Achilles in a cast, and we went after a guy for his money because that was my dude. We was together on that. Urca. I used to work for a company called Urca. It's a furniture sales, furniture liquidation company out in Arizona. I can't remember the guy's name, but I thought he was great at first. Started off with a temp agency working in his warehouse. I sent him my resume. He saw I had sales experience, so he brought me to a sales floor, made me permanent, paid me a certain percentage until I sold a big item, which was tiles. And commission should have been about $3,000, and he didn't pay me. Lied to me about it. Lied to me completely. Looked me in the face and said he didn't get any commission. When first he lied to me about how much he was buying the tile for, how much the company was paying for it. Okay. I sold it for I think 8 cents, 9 cents more than what he was getting it for or maybe $8 or $9 more than what he was getting for, something like that. I can't remember. It was so long ago. But he lied about what he was paying for it, because I talked to his vendor who sold him the towel. She told me exactly what he was paying for it. Now, not only that, I sold it for way more than what he was paying for it. There was no installation because the guy who I sold it to installed it himself. Okay, and the delivery was free. He gave me delivery for free. But he claimed he didn't make a profit on it, and he was only going to pay me on the profit that he made on it. Yeah, it was a $3,000 sale. I've been in sales half my life, and I've never, ever made a $3,000 sale and there was no commission to collect on it. Well, this gentleman claimed there wasn't. So I quit because he stole from me. Him and his wife stole from me. And get this, I just bought a brand new Mustang because it was a great job. Great job. Bought a brand new Mustang, and he stole from me, and I quit the next day because that was a fake ass boss, and I was not going to continue to work for a fake ass boss. He stole from me once, he would steal from me again. You know, I don't do it, y'all. I don't. Once you steal from me, once you take my money that was promised to me for the services that I provided for you, why would I continue to do that? I mean, why would I continue to work for you? That's, if I did continue to work for you, it's stupid on my part. And it's the same thing with Nick. The thing with Nick, and we've been down this road before. This is not our first rodeo, me and Nick. I closed $700 worth of business. 3 deals. $199, $199, and $299. Which are reoccurring, by the way. It's reoccurring. Monthly reoccurring. You know how much I made on that? He billed $700 and he paid me $50. 25 and 25. Then when they rebuild, this is funny. When they rebuild, I'm thinking I'm going to get half because that's what we agreed on. We were supposed to be in it together, 50-50, which I knew it wasn't going to be, but he said this. I'm going to hold him to his word. And again, I'm going to take my time, y'all. We're going to go way past the hour on this one. This is going to be way off format. Okay? Just to let you know. But we agreed 50-50. When he rebuilt, and I knew he was, number one, he didn't rebuild when he was supposed to. He claimed he was going to wait till after Memorial Day. I don't know why. But when he did, one of them didn't build because of Zelle, which I'm sure he's gotten it by now. But the other two did. So the two $200 deals billed. So $400. Keep in mind, this is the second charge. He's $400. He's already got $700 for him. So that's a total of $1,100. We were supposed to be 50-50. I didn't get paid for neither one of that. What he did is he gave me 25, then 25, then 50 when he rebuilt for 400. When he rebuilt for 400, he gave me 50. When he originally built for 700, he gave me 50. Yeah. And he honestly expected me to continue working for him. See, that's a boss, what I'm going to get deeper into. That's a fake ass boss that I always told myself, because it happened to me once, I'll never put myself in a position where another man has control over my livelihood. I never wanted to be where another man can tell me when he's going to pay me, how much he's going to pay me, and pay me whether he wants to or not. That's what it boils down to. I should have got 200. He gave me 50 because that's what he wanted to pay me. That's what he thought was fair. On the first billing, when I closed the deals, when it was 700, I should have got 350 of that. But I got $50, 25 for one, 25 for another, didn't get anything for the other deal, the third deal. Because that's what he wanted to pay me. That's what he thought was fair. And he paid me when he wanted to pay me. Folks, never put yourself in that position. Now, I understand a lot of people, majority of people, you work for somebody. But if you work for somebody, which is it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. I worked for somebody for a long period of time. Okay, it's not a bad thing. We got to work. We got to draw a paycheck. But if you are gonna work for somebody, make sure you're working for somebody where you get a paycheck, where you get your W-2, and even if you're 1099, to where it's getting paid according to a contract, set time and date, and amount. W-2 employee, the beauty of it, you get paid every Friday, and you know how much you're getting paid because you know how much you make an hour, or you know how much you make a day, whatever the case is. See, working with Nick this last time, and just like the first time I worked with him, verbally we had an agreement, but never got anything in writing. So it was my fault. I screwed myself, really. So I can't blame him, even though he's a fake ass boss and a buster ass dude. But it's my fault because I didn't get anything in writing. But would he have honored it even if it wasn't writing? I don't think so, because it was all his. Everything was his. So there's not too much you can do when it's all his. If it's not, regulated by some official, But what the hell? I mean, those fake ass bosses, Michael Cochran, Ed Obimanco, I really had to go to the bag to get my money from them. I'm talking about gun to the chest. Yeah, had to pull that move to collect. I believe it was $3,000. Jonathan, that's the boss that I had and Charles had, where we had to go bust his door down for over $500 that he owed Charles. And this is when Charles was in the cast, But we went there like some gangbusters, busted his door down. I mean, just do the right thing. You employ people to do a job. Both agreed upon the pay, both agreed upon when the pay is to be rendered. Just follow through. It will stop a lot of bad things happening if you don't. I mean, like I said, people ain't playing about their money. Grown people that have families are not playing about their money. I mean, I've seen some fake ass bosses ruin some families. Just disappear. I remember when I first got in the mortgage business, it was a company, First Alliance Mortgage, FAMCO, and our competitor was First Plus. This was back in, I want to say 93, 94. And this was when First Plus was big. First Plus Mortgage, they were, sponsored, not sponsored, but, Dan Marino used to endorse it. Big company, but they were our competitors. But there was a time when the mortgage took a dip back in those days, or, big companies were getting hit for some reason. I can't remember what they were getting hit for. They're not around no more. But at the time, and this is so cheesy, because I knew a lot of guys that worked at First Plus. A lot of guys. It was a huge telemarketing office, basically, and then they had the loan officers. But getting back to it, it was a Friday at payday, and they didn't want to pay their employees. And it was a huge company. I mean, they were a big company, at least 2,500 employees. Well, not that many. I would say at least about 1,300, though. Yeah, about 1,300. Huge company. Because we had, at FAMCO, we had quite a bit. I think we had like 800 to 1,000 employees. Okay? That's including, everything. HR, processing, loan officers, telemarketers, managers, a lot of employees. But anyways, First Plus, getting back to them. This is how fake ass bosses they were. It's a Friday. And Fridays, everybody's ready to get paid. They're ready to get paid and go out. This was in Newport Beach, and I think they were in Irvine at the time. So, you're ready to get paid, go to the club, go to the bar, whatever the case is, but it was good money. In the mortgage business, it was good money. Even if you're a telemarketer, still get decent money. Each paycheck's about $1,300 to $1,400. You're getting paid every week. And back in those days, that was decent money. Well, it's time to get paid. It's around, time to get off. It's about 4 or 5 o'clock. And what happens? First plus, fire alarm goes off. Everybody panics. Fire alarm. It's not a drill. So everybody rushes outside because that's what you're supposed to do when the fire alarm goes off. Okay. Well, once everybody gets outside, because the fire alarm, the major heads in the business are still inside. What they do is they go and they shut the door and lock it behind them. It was in the news. It was in the paper. It was in the news. This was back before social media. This was back before cell phones. This was back before all. This was when there was still the newspaper, classified ads. Okay. The OC Register, LA Times. It was in the paper and it was in the news. How they did their employees. They sounded the fire alarm. Everybody rushed out of the building. Normal practice for a fire alarm. And they went behind them and shut the doors and locked it. And didn't pay nobody. And a lot of people wanted to sue. A lot of people tried to sue, but you didn't get none because they shut down, claimed bankruptcy the next day, and they were gone. They were gone. So a lot of people got screwed because they worked for a fake-ass boss. Definitely a devil in disguise. Definitely. That type of shit. Okay? I would have went home, got the pistol, came back to shooting up the place. Yeah. Especially if you were a top producer. I mean, the top producers are making anywhere between $2,500 to $3,000 a paycheck. Okay? And you get shut out of that. When you got bills relying on that, you got loans probably you taking out relying on your pay, families, kids. I mean, you rely on that weekly pay or bi-weekly pay or monthly pay. Because that's what's promised to you, or that's what it's been. All of a sudden, you want to change the game up because you want to, because you don't want to pay? That's some bullshit, y'all. Excuse my language, but that's what it is. It's just bad practice, bad business all around, bad karma, the whole 9 yards. It just really is. I mean, it's just a shame that there's fake ass bosses out there. I mean, they lie, they steal, they ruin families. I've seen it. I've seen bosses get beat down. Because they decided not to pay certain employees. And that's another thing. They pick and choose who they want to pay. They pick and choose when they want to pay. Especially if it's a small company. If it's a big company and you got direct deposit and you got an HR department, then pay goes out automatically. The boss has nothing to do with it. Okay. In that sense, he could just be the asshole that fires you or makes it hard for you at your job to where you want to quit, or to where you get demoted, or to where you get put on suspension. That all starts from the boss because he just wanted to be a fake-ass boss. Maybe he woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day, didn't get no ass that night, whatever the case is. But he wants to take out his frustrations on certain employees, which is BS. And I've seen bosses get beat down over some shit like that. Seriously. But they deserved it. They deserved it, y'all. I mean, you can't play God with people's paycheck or their livelihood. You can't. Just because you're in that position, you're not God. You are not God. There's only one God. That's God Almighty. But some people let that power go to their heads. Some people let that position go to their heads, especially if they've never been in that position of power before. Especially, they let it go to their heads. Rock with me, y'all. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Again, this is John Lee with B Swag Podcast. And we're in episode 6, and we're talking about fake ass bosses. You know, let me stop right here. Let's talk about some good bosses, because there are some great bosses out there. I've worked for quite a few. I have, you know, Todd and Jeremy Johnson taught me a lot. They taught me how to calculate data, they taught me what trends. They taught me huge aspects in sales. You know, Todd Johnson is just a phenomenal salesman, phenomenal, and was a great boss. He was fair, he was honest, and he didn't lie. He told you what it was. Randy McPhillips was an asshole, not gonna lie, but he was a great boss. He taught me a lot when it came to doing loans in the mortgage industry. You know, he taught me how to strive for greatness in the mortgage industry. Richard Betts, God rest his soul, taught me how to do loans. He was a great boss. He let the money get to his head, and he let him ruin it. Brian Carey, my boy BC out there in Massachusetts. Really the first real job I had getting out of the Marine Corps. He was a great boss. We used to hang out. We went to a Laker game together in the old Garden, not the new Garden, not what it's called now. This was the old Boston Garden down in the North End. Got tickets to a Laker Celtics game. That's when Magic was still playing. Bird was still playing, but he wasn't playing in this game because he was out. But he was a great boss. Okay. Byron Williams. I speak about him a lot in a lot of my episodes, a lot of my podcasts, but he was a great boss. This is how good of a boss Byron Williams was, aka B Love. Byron has owned his own auto detail business for as long as I've known him. I've known him for 30 years. Let's see. Yeah, it's been about 30 years. And there's about 6 of us that used to hang out together, that used to, run in the same circle, golf together, go to the club together, work together, there's like 6 of us. But all of us at one point, at one time, if we ever needed money, we knew we can go to Byron. We've all worked in Byron's truck at one point, at one time. All of us. All 6 or 7 of us. However many there is. If we ever needed money, Byron, can you loan? No, I'm not going to loan. Just hop in the truck. Let's go work. I'll pay you at the end of the day. And he's always had a successful detail business. And he's a great boss. He pays you when he says. He pays you what he says. And he doesn't work you to death. He's there working with you because it's his business. He takes pride in his business. I mean, Jordan Belfort never worked for him, but just an example. Wolf of Wall Street. You always want to work for somebody who makes you money. If you follow, because they're a good boss, they'll make you money. They will. If you follow them and they're a fake ass boss, they're gonna turn you into ruins. They're gonna ruin you. It's not gonna go well. It's not at all. And that's what happened with me in regards to Nick George. Even though I thought it was gonna go well, I'm a salesman. I take pride in closing deals, and I take pride in that it's hard to sell me on something. But he did twice, and both times it almost ruined me. But I'm strong-minded, so I always bounce back. But the average guy probably wouldn't have bounced back from that. Probably wouldn't have. But like I said, the few that I spoke on a little while ago, they were awesome. Great bosses, fair. Make sure you got your money. Make sure you got what you were worth. There's twos and fews of them, but those are the guys you want to work for if you do have to work for somebody. Those are the types of bosses you want to have. I know some people, sometimes you're up against the wall where you have to take a job that's offered. You have no choice. So you have no choice in, who your boss is and working for that particular individual, whether he's an asshole or not, whether he's a good boss or a fake ass boss. But I pray and hope that the majority of people, you're in a position to where you don't have to subdue yourself to that. I know that was the wrong word both times, but you know what I'm talking about. Hopefully you're in a position where you can pick and choose, to where you're not desperate, to where it's either work for a fake ass boss or go rob a bank. I'm hoping that you never have to be put in that position, because to be honest with you, robbing a bank would probably be easier and better, even though there's circumstances. Now, I'm not saying robbing a bank is good. It's against the law. It's illegal, and you'll go to jail for a long time for that. But just, speaking wise, I'd rather rob a bank than go work for a fake ass boss, because the punishments are the same. It's worse actually working for a fake ass boss, because he's robbing you. He's robbing you of your dignity, your pride, and your money, and your manhood or womanhood if you're female. So what are you gonna do? I remember I was working for somebody and they were just BS, and that's when I decided I can do what you're having me do and not paying me for it. I can do it better. So that's when I decided to open up my own business and work for myself, and I haven't looked back since. I haven't. Now, there's been years I've made good money, and there's been years I haven't. But the peace of mind, the sanity, the comfort, knowing that I'm going to get paid when I'm supposed to get paid because I'm the one in charge of my pay. My whole thing is this. At my age, and at any age, you never want to be in a position where another grown man or woman has control over how much you make, when you make it, and if you make it or not. Especially if you have a family that's depending on what you make, when you make. Like I said, people get killed over that. People literally get killed over that. I've never seen it, but it happens. People do get killed over that. People are not playing with their money. They're not. It's a bad thing, y'all. It really is. That's what I thought, because it just happened to me. That's why I thought I would speak on it. You gotta excuse me. I'm having a beer, a cigarette, because I'm relaxed. I'm sitting back. Like I said, I'm gonna be on this for a minute. So, because this is a topic that you can't just talk about in an hour and be done with it. No. Can't. Because there's so much to talk about when it's in regards to a fake ass boss. It's like, for instance, I already knew Nick wasn't going to pay me. I already knew it. But I played the role. So I could get what I could get. But I knew he wasn't going to pay me. I would have preferred him to just be a man about it and say, look, this is the reason, and I'm not paying you. Because he thinks that I did this, or I did that, or I cost him this, or I cost him that. Be a man about it. Just say it. Instead of being a bitch about it and say, oh, no, I'm cool. No, we're friends. I'm cool. I'm still going to pay you. And then you don't. Brother, I've been clocking your game since I got there. Okay? Like I tell people, I didn't get to be 56 on 100. I know the game. Been involved in it for quite some time. Okay? So you got to get up pretty early in the morning to get one over on me, especially when it comes to my pay. just going over my notes, y'all, because I got quite a bit. I got fake ass bosses makes mad bosses. Oh no, fake ass bosses makes mad bosses look like preschool teachers. Yeah. I don't know why I put that down, if that makes any sense. You know, I just can't give up that much power over my livelihood. I can't. And I won't. I won't do it anymore. I will not give another man that much power over my livelihood. Now, I don't have kids. I don't have a family, but I have bills. And I have things I like to do. You know, I have pleasures. In order to get those pleasures or do the things I like to do, I have to work. So I prefer to work for myself. Because when I work for somebody else, I'll say 6 times out of 10 it doesn't work out well. Because I have worked for great companies that it did work out well. But I don't want to be in a position where another man decides whether I eat or starve. Okay? And Nick was in that position. He decided whether I eat or starve. He decided whether, I got paid or not. And being so far away, being in another state, it put him in a comfortable belief that I couldn't do anything about it. So he could just pay me what he wanted to pay me, when he wanted to pay me. And if he wanted to pay me. He was able to make that decision. He was able to do me like that because we're in 2 different states. But best believe, I don't care. I'm a retired Marine. I know how to find people. I know how to get what's mine. I know how to use force if needed. Which at my age, I don't like it. But if needed, I know how to use it. Because again, 2 rules, y'all. Don't drink my last beer, and definitely don't play with my money. I work hard for my money, and I work hard for that last beer. I wouldn't do that to another human being at all. I've been a boss before. I've owned companies. I've had employees, several of them. And I never played with their money. Never. Because I wanted them to come back. You screw a man over his money, he's not going to come back. So you lost in the long run as a fake ass boss, especially if he was a top producer. And I've always been a top producer. I've talked about it in other episodes. Be about the long money, not the short money. I have beliefs that I can do anything. Anything. I'm always going to be successful at anything I do, whatever I do. Because I've been. And it's all about respect too. If you respect a man, you'll do the right thing. If you don't respect him, you won't. You won't. And if you're used to just getting over on people, you're going to continue to do it. Until somebody puts a stop to it. And I've seen people go in his pockets. You got to give me what you got in your pockets type thing. I've seen it to where he's hiding out in his office and he had to call his father down to the office because he was going to get jumped because he didn't have money to pay people. I've been in other companies, worked with other bosses, to where the same thing has happened, to where they had to hide out. Like I said, I was a friend of mine. We were roommates. And he was working for the same guy I was, and the dude didn't want to pay him, and we went and busted his door down. He was hiding in his office. And the thing about it, I worked for these other gentlemen who I eventually worked for these other gentlemen. At the time when I first met them, they came and chased this guy, chased Jonathan down over some money. Like I said, I've seen some guys get beat down over some money, not paying what they were supposed to pay when they were supposed to pay, because it was agreed on. If you agree to pay somebody for a particular service and that service has been performed completely, 100%, that person expects to get paid for that. And then you make a decision that you don't want to pay them. Then you come up with, well, because it wasn't done right, or was it done on time, or was it done correctly? I mean, that's some bullshit. Again, excuse my language, but it is some bullshit. Pay that man. Reminds me of Rounders, the movie Rounders, that end scene when I believe it's Matt Damon. He's been not cheated, but he lost everything because he was running with somebody who decided to cheat. They got caught and got, beat up and had all their money taken, but they still owed somebody money. And Matt Damon, the part that he played, he was trying to help the other guy, Ed Norton, trying to help him out. And Ed Norton screwed him. And so Matt Damon went to go face the music. He went and got a loan from somebody and went to go play him in poker and won. And at the end, it was like, they were looking at me, and the guy who he beat said, no, pay that man his money. He beat me fair and square. Pay him his money. And that's what it should be. That's how it should work. Whether you like the guy or not, whether you respect the guy or not, if he performs a service or wins a bet, whatever the case is, pay him. It's called being a man about your shit. The difference of, I wrote this down, the difference of working for Nick and working for a W-2 company. Working for Nick is cool because you're on your own time and, it's fun. But you don't know if you're going to get paid or not. Now, working for a W-2 company, it might suck because you got to be there at a certain time every day, Monday through Friday or whatever the case is. But at the end of the week, you're going to get paid. That check will go to your account if you have direct deposit, or they're passing out checks at the end of the day on that particular payday. It happens as it's supposed to happen. It's just been a losing situation working for Nick. Originally, when I started working with him, his parents got in the way. I thought it'd be different this time because the parents are involved. Obviously, I was wrong because it happened again. And like I said, I closed 3 deals, $700, which have already rebilled to $1,400 minus the 3, so to $1,100. Started off 7, then 400 rebuild, so $1,100 total. And I didn't get nothing. I got a total of $100, where we agreed, which I have texts, I have recordings, to where we were supposed to be 50-50. I did all the selling, closing, he did all the technical work on the computer. But it didn't happen that way. It did not happen that way at all. I took a major L. But it was my fault. I put myself in that situation. I put myself in that position. And I should have known better because of his past. What's that old saying? A leopard can't change his spots, or a leopard can change his spots, or like I said, fake ass bosses. Are they really the devil in disguise? All fake ass boss is a buster ass dude with a suit and tie in an office. That's all. Uh-oh. I'm getting close to an hour. I'm going to have to come back to y'all. Okay? I'll be back in a minute with part 2 of Fake Ass Bosses. This is John Lee with B-Swag Podcast. I'm going to have to sign out for now, but I will be back with part 2, y'all. I got some great content. I hope y'all been rocking with me. And if you have, thank you very much. And just be on the lookout for them fake ass bosses. Please. I'm out.